All right, welcome everybody to SCITV. My name is Fanuel Muindi. I am very excited today to be joined by Dr. Kwasi Agbleke, and I hope I pronounced the last name correctly because I've been known to butcher some people's names, but it is absolutely wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here too.
And so we're going to get to learn a lot more about Dr. Agbeleke's work, his journey to where he is right now. And so if you haven't got a chance yet, do click below to the link to his organization, the Sena Institute of Technology, which he'll tell us more about. And so with that, I want to open the floor to Dr. Agbleke and tell us a little bit more about SIT and how it came about.
Yeah, thank you, Fanuel. Yeah, so I'm the president and co-founder of the Sena Institute of Technology. We have been in existence for more than a decade. Actually, we are in the 13th year of our existence. And I would say we started way before the technology or the biotech bubble that we currently have. We have reached a phase in the US where a lot of companies are coming out of biotechs. So we started back then with the idea that we will build a research campus in Ghana that will be dedicated for biotechnology, developing new tools, new resources that can be useful to the continent. And we've been doing that for many years now. And I would say now the organization has grown to a point where we can do a lot of the things that we had envisaged almost a decade ago. So that's how that's our journey to here. And if you have any more questions about it, let me know.
Yeah, and I think it'd be good for our audience to get a sense of just the undertaking this has taken, right? This organization is in Ghana on the ground, and at the time when you're building it, you've been here in the US as well. Talk to us about that, right? That you're not there. You have to travel back and forth. But just the challenges of building something from the ground up in a place where the resources are not as available as they are here in the US.
Yeah, so the main thing you have to focus on in building such a system is having people you trust who can be on the ground when you are not there. So as I'm the co-founder, so I founded the organization with my younger brother. And the reason why we've been so successful is that he's been very active in Ghana. So purchasing of land, we bought about several acres of land. He was the lead person. He investigated, make sure the land we are buying is genuine, and he got the land. The construction of the building, he was actively involved. Sometimes you see him lifting all the heavy things to make sure that the work is being done. So his passion and commitment has strengthened the organization to the point where we are. Then when it comes to the logistics, we needed equipment, reagents. Most of the time, I will source them here, ship them to Ghana, and then he will collect them from the port and then transport them all the way to the institute, set them up. There are times it gets there during transport, things are dirty, it got some parts are broken. He actually fixes them, repairs them, and makes sure that they are working. So this combination of one person here, one person there, it is almost like two brains working together on a particular mission, but on two different continents. And that has worked pretty well for us.
Yeah, it can't be that easy for sure, given the distances that are involved. And so if you look back, actually let me rephrase this. Fundamentally, like what are some of the research questions that you guys are asking at the Institute, or at least you hope to ask as the Institute grows?
Yeah, so I'm a geneticist and also a microscopist. So we started with the most fundamental question of genetics, understanding how things work at the genetic level, basic fundamental questions. So in order to do this kind of project, we need a model organism. So we spent, I would say, the last 3 years now documenting different plants. And the idea is that if we look at various plants, we study them in our environment, we'll be able to identify unique species, one, that we can use as a model organism to understand, to characterize the biochemistry and the genetics of life, as well as to be able to document plants for their applications for therapy, for medicinal properties, and for supplements. So that had been the focus of our goal. In the past year or two, we have been able to strike partnerships where now we have expanded that project to include marine species. So we actually sequence about 100 marine species in collaboration with Northeastern University. And then the last thing we are doing now is documenting insects as well, so that we can be able to combine all this knowledge about our environment to improve health. At the health section, we are now working with, in partnership with the Fibroid Foundation Africa and University of Chicago, that is enabling us to be able to study fibroid in women. And by combining all these resources, we will understand the basic fundamental means in which fibroid progresses, and then use the herbal or the drugs we are finding in our database to cure or to treat it.
And who funds the work?
Yeah, so we have several funders, some in biotech, some in academia, and then we write a few grants here and there, and all that supports the work that we do.
I see. And in the long term, like how would you know if you're successful in what you're doing?
Yeah, so we have we set a very high threshold or standard for ourselves, and there are several ways we assess our efforts. So the first is, when we started this organization 5 or 6 years ago, we set up an advisory board. That board had manages and evaluates the work we do. So we normally send a quarterly report to them. They review it, they give directions and help us in the right direction. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we encourage ourselves to publish. That is another activity. And then the third one is, we sometimes have short, clear goals that we want to accomplish. So once we're able to meet those deadlines and those goals, we consider them accomplished. I'll give an example. Is like, we now have a project to have a FASEP conference. That's a Federation for American Society for Experimental Biology conference, and that's happening in Ghana. We have the fibroid work, which is precise, and we know that once we get the fibroid organelle made in the lab in Ghana, we have accomplished that goal. So some of those short projects are clear and easy to define.
I see. And I think that's something that we all struggle with, trying to figure out, like, what impact are we having to have, right, on the ground in particular. And I think one of them for you as well is that you are growing the campus, right, on the ground, and expanding the buildings, and that takes a lot of capital investments, right, to do this broad thing. So if you're just joining us, we are talking with Dr. Agbleke, the president and co-founder of the Sena Institute of Technology. We'll be right back. Don't go away, because we have a lightning round of questions for Dr. Agbleke, okay? Hang in there. Be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are talking with Dr. Agbleke, and he's telling us all about Sena Institute of Technology and everything that they're doing on the ground. So we're going to do a lightning round of questions here. Super short answers, hopefully. Okay, here we go. How many people are involved in the Institute?
So far, about 15.
And where are they based, mostly?
Most in Ghana, and then we have some volunteers here in the US as well.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about your training.
Yeah, so we have trainees from the minimum you need to work at the institute is a bachelor's degree, and then we have people with a master's degree, and currently we even have volunteers and interns. So we have started a dissertation program where PhD students can come to our institute and conduct their dissertation research at our institute.
I see. And how So how many summer, you recently hosted a summer program, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
And how many of those have you had so far?
So this is the second year in a row. The first one was with Harvard University, and the second was with University of Chicago. And the purpose of this program is to reverse the brain drain, encourage people with expertise to come to Africa in order to develop or expand the research base in these areas.
Biggest pain point?
Doing this research over many years, or building an institute for many years, is not an easy point. It's not an easy effort. And I would say our biggest pain so far is getting people to believe that some of the work we plan to do in Ghana can be done in Africa. There's always a hesitancy when someone says, oh, I'm going to do this kind of research, and they're like, in Africa? Africa is not known for such kind of research. So, helping people to reassess the continent and the kind of things that can be done and the pool of talent that is available on the continent, I feel it's one of our major challenges.
And 10 years from now, where is it, SIT?
Yeah, so 10 years from now, my hope is that we would have moved from our current location to a bigger facility, and then we will be able to increase the department within the institute. Currently, it is highly done. We are focused on genetics, but I can see we can go into computational science, statistics, sociology, even community engagement. All these things are needed. We need to define some of these things properly in a scientific manner, and I hope that the institute should be able to do that.
Yeah, I think glad you said community engagement, because you are involved in the local community there, right? As you're designing this, thinking about the role of science in society, right? More broadly, is something that we care here at SAI a lot, of course. So that's absolutely fantastic to hear. If people want to get involved,
I would like to add one more comment on the community. So there is this perception we also want to change about science, that science is for the elite. So we encourage the community to be part of the research. So we talk to people, we encourage non-scientists or people with less science background to be part of what we are doing. And an example is our last award ceremony. We brought in the chief, the traditionalist, to come in and hand over the certificates, which normally we want to get to like a provost, the minister for science and that, but we brought a traditional community, and we believe that they have a key role in the growth of the community. So we need to engage them so that the science can be improved.
I think that's really important. Thank you for sharing that. If people want to get involved, how do they do so? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so normally on our website, we have an email. Just shoot me an email, and then we can start the conversation going. We have a lot of, as I said, it is a communal effort. So we are looking for people who want to support. You can donate 2 hours of your time. If you think there's some area you can help us, we encourage people to reach out, and then we work out a schedule that will allow us to work on this project.
Yeah, and also to visit SIT directly on the ground.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah, and it's our goal that more people should come to the continent and to come to Ghana. So we would like to see more people visit us.
Absolutely, and I think that's a great place to end. So more visitors, go on the website. The link is right there. And also, yeah, consider visiting SIT as it grows. I think we're going to be seeing some rapid growth in the next couple of years from SIT. We can always chat some more. I think we're going to have you back. We need to have you back, of course, to talk with you more and ask more deeper questions. And so if this was interesting to you, stay tuned, because we are going to have Dr. Agbleke join us again soon enough. And so with that, this was SAITV. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for our next segment, where you will engage another founder who is doing some awesome work out there in the world. Thank you.
Thank you too for having me.